Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to a special Stone Cold Hockey video. We're going to be taking a look at the Guy Chouinard tribute tourney, as we call it. We got the '79 Atlanta Flames and the 1982 Calgary Flames face each other. Reason being is it's poof. Guy Chouinard, born October 1956, died today, December 28, 2025. He played for the Atlanta Flames, the Calgary Flames, and the St. Louis Blues, and was a coach in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League when he retired as a player. He played in the famous Quebec International Pee Wee tournaments with teams from Quebec City. He went up through the minors and was part of the Quebec Ramparts, one of the greatest of Quebec League teams of all time. Of course, the team that Guy Lafleur came from. The Atlanta Flames, with the 28th pick in the 74 draft, picked him up, and it was huge and all that. So at 18, he was allowed to be drafted. And playing for Atlanta, he actually was the first Flame to score 50 goals in a season. The Atlanta slash Calgary Flames, because, Atlanta moved to Calgary after 1980. And this is the big one. Chouinard actually scored the final goal in Atlanta Flames history during the 1980 playoffs when they lost to the New York Rangers, being swept by the Rangers. No, sorry, it was a 4-game loss to the Rangers. And then that meant that the Atlanta Flames were done. They were out and under Calgary because hockey in Atlanta couldn't stick. That would be the last time. Anyway, he stayed on with the Calgary team and then was traded in 1983 to St. Louis for future considerations. But he actually had a good career in the Quebec Junior Hockey League and was actually enshrined in the Hall of Fame in 2005, not just because of his junior things as a player, but as a coach. He actually coached 988 games in the Quebec Junior League, has the most wins as a coach, 515, and 4 championships as a coach. Notably, he went for Victoriaville, Quebec, and Prince Edward Island, and all that. I don't know how many times he got to the Memorial Cup. Well, 4 Quebec League champions, which is pretty good. He coached in the minor professional league in Quebec, Mines of St. Hyacinthe. He was actually hired by the Quebec Junior League to Prince Edward Island for a few years. He was nicknamed Gramps because he looked much older than he really was. He was not the only member of his family to play pro hockey. He's the older brother of Jean Chouinard and the father of Eric Chouinard, who played some seasons in the NHL, most notably for Montreal, Philly, and Minnesota. And his nephew Mark Chouinard played for the Ducks, Wild, and Canucks. So anyway, this was his regular season and playoffs. Like the Quebec League, he was dominant, and then he played a few games for Atlanta while he was with Omaha. Then in the AHL with Nova Scotia, didn't play much. And then in 1977, he became a regular and blossomed with 107 points in the 1979 season. 1981, the Flames were actually in the conference finals, or the Final Four, if you will, and nearly had the Stanley Cup finals appearance. Yeah, he played 1 year for St. Louis and then retired. 205 goals, 575 points, and 578 career regular season games. I want to know about his uh, coaching. So it's been Lungiel in 1987 when they uh, won the championship. He lost to the that's not complete. That's not completely there because that doesn't look like 900 games and all that. Most of the finals in 1990 with Victoriaville uh, and all that. Yeah, there has to be some kind of thing. His stuff is kind of missing. But nevertheless. So it's the 1979 Atlanta Flames against the 18 Calgary Flames. You're kind of thinking, well, Guy Chouinard wasn't really that great. Well, dude, I mean, when you are a superstar playing hockey in Atlanta, of all freaking places, you got to give the Atlanta Flames their due diligence. And since, of course, there's the '79 season and then the '82 season, there's no 1980 or 81, made the Atlanta Flames. So the 79 Flames take on the 82 Calgary. So Atlanta plays Calgary. We're going to autoplay until someone gets to 3 wins. Game 1 sees Atlanta winning 8-7 at home as Dan Bouchard beat Reggie Lemelin, the man known for his emphatic pats, 8-7. Calgary goals by Lenny McDonald, LeBreton, Kent Nielsen, Jamie Hislop, Guy Chouinard again, and Willie Plett. For Atlanta, Duncan Lawrence, I think that's his name. Bill Clement, yes, that guy, Bill Clement, the future star of ESPN and ABC color commentating alongside Gary Forn. Chand, Ken Houston, that's his name. Gene Carr, Ed Kia, Darcy Rhoda, and then Bill Clement again. 8-7. Game 2 sees Atlanta win on prolongation or overtime as Pat Regan loses to Reggie Lemelin. Well, Reggie plays for Atlanta. Calgary actually was down 5-3, but goals by Rudy Kalani and Bridgman scored by Sean Potterfall for Atlanta from Eric Vale. And Chouinard scored for the 79 on a power play goal to make it 3-0 Atlanta. Game 3 sees Calgary win 6-3 as Lemelin beats Bouchard. Atlanta goes by Rhoda, McMillan, and Carr. Calgary goes by Lanny, Rudy Canalio, Houston Plett, Greg McAdam, and then LeBreton. Game 4 sees Atlanta win 4-2 as Bouchard beats Regan. Calgary goes by Nielsen and Hislop. Guy Chouinard twice for Atlanta with Ed Kia and Sean Potterville. So, because it is 3, we will move on. Game 5, Atlanta with Dan Bouchard against Pat Regan. Well, it's either Bouchard, Lemelin, or even Yves Boulanger for Atlanta. Calgary has either Pat Regan or Reggie Lemelin. So Lemelin went from Atlanta to Calgary. The 79 Atlanta squad, you got Guy Chouinard, 50-goal scorer, of course. Bob McMillan, pretty good player himself, former Leaf. Eric Vale, smart player. Sean Potterville, former Penguin. Bobby Lalonde. No Tom Lysiak. Oh, they traded away Tom Lysiak. Willie Plett they had. Good right winger. Ken Houston. Don Lawrence. I call him Duncan Lawrence. I don't know. Bill Clement. Yeah, the ESPN and ABC guy. Darcy Broda. John Gold. Ed Kia. Ivan Budriev, one of the first Czech players in the NHL. Bob Murdoch. Badger Bob Murdoch, I guess. Dave Shan. Gene Carr. Phil Russell. Brad Marsh, who played over 1,000 games. Rod Sealing. Catch it there. Sorry, I had to say that. 81, the 82 Calgary Flames. You got Lanny McDonald, you got Kevin Lavelli, you got Jim Plebensky, Mel Bridgman, former Flyer. Ed, he passed away recently himself. Kent Nielsen, the legend of the Atlanta / Calgary Flames, who came over from the WHA. There's Guy Chouinard. Kent Houston on both sides. Willie Plett on that side too. Rick Linen, Jamie Hislop, coming over from the WHA. Paul Reinhardt, catch it there. Gary McAdam, Denny Sear, Dan LeBreton, Phil Russell, Bill Clement was on that team too. I did not know that. Bob Murdoch was on that team too. Steve Conroy, Charlie Bourgeois. Here we go. 5 minutes into the game. Fail never fails. Or I could say fail Colorado, but yeah, fail never fails. His first from Lawrence and Chouinard. Guy Chouinard with assist 1-0. 2 minutes later. Oops. Lady gets whacked by Eric Vale. Lavallee get hit. And they kill the zone. 6 minutes later. Calgary Skiers. Chouinard his third for Calgary from Lanny. 1-1. 2 minutes later. Delivers a hit. Okay. 6 minutes later. Actually, no. 3 minutes later. His fourth from Fail. Well, Fail scored from Chouinard. Chouinard scores from Fail. Let the teamwork begin. 3 minutes later. Calgary Skiers. Houston Texans. Can Houston Texans scores his third from Phil Russell and Guy Chouinard. So another assist for ADQ Chouinard. 3 minutes later. Chance for Atlanta. No. To end the period. Calgary with the chance to make it 3-2, but LeBraton cannot put it in. And no, that's not the beat writer from Miami. That's Le Batard. Bastard. Not. You know what? 3 minutes into the third. Calgary Steelers. Oh, Lenny McDonald scored the goal. E-I-E-I-O. His third in the playoffs from Murdoch and Reinhardt. E-I-E-I-O. With a big shot there and a slap chance there. Making the puck down with 16. Lenny McDonald scored the goal. E-I-E-I-O. 4 minutes later. Nope. No hit. 3 minutes later. February tried to ice this game, but no. 3 minutes later. Calgary. Murdoch. Can Atlanta capture? Fisher. No. Gene G, the dancing machine car. His third from Houston and Vale. 3-3. Calgary scores. Lenny McDonald scored the goal. E-I-E-I-O. His fourth for the playoffs from Chouinard and Chouinard. E-I-E-I-O. With a hot shot there and a skate in the crease. That is clean. Sorry, Bourgeois. Lenny McDonald scored the goal. E-I-E-I-O. Empty net. Can Atlanta score? Nope. Willie Platt puts it in the net from Reinhardt and Mel Bridgman. So Calgary will force a game 6. Well, we'll have to go to another game. Oh, yes, we will. Back on to the Saddle Dome. I can't say the Saddle Dome because that didn't open up till 1983. They played at Calgary Coliseum or whatever it's called. The Stampede. No, Stampede Corral. That's it. The Calgary Corral. That's it. Anyway, game 6 sees Bouchard back in the net for Atlanta against Patty Regan. No major changes. Aggression? Smooth London Bridgman's falling down, falling down, falling down. Melbourne Bridgman's falling down from the Valley McAdam. 5 minutes later. Calgary trying to score and can't. March later. Bridgman. They got to score. Rhoda can't. American Chouinard trying to tie the game, but no sale. 2 minutes later. Lawrence fumbles. Peplinski. No. Calgary cannot ice it. 6 minutes later. No. A few minutes later. Peplinski. Shot no. Shot skill. Peppa power play goal. Because we're the Can Houston Oilers. Can Houston Oilers. Can Houston Oilers number 2. That's a goal from McMillan Provost. It is Can Houston Oilers. Can Houston Oilers. Can Houston Oilers number 1. 5 minutes later. The tie skiers. Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling Clementine. He ties her up with Shand and Chouinard assist. 2-2. Split. Bridgman. Well, with a 5-minute major penalty like that, that means that Bridgman will have to stay in the box for 5 minutes, and Atlanta can score as many goals as they want. Purple Jets. Oh, Rhoda had a chance, and it's killed off. 3 minutes later. Atlanta failed. Oh. 1 minute later. His slop, a beep bop, big bop, da 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 dip dop. His third from Bourgeois and Lenny. 2 minutes later. Lenny. 5 minutes later. Can't start yelling skills. His fifth from Donnie Lawrence, 5-3. Duncan Lawrence was the guy who won Eurovision with Arcade. 2 minutes later. Question? Can Calgary score? They sure do. Landon McDonald scored that goal. E-I-E-I-O. That's number 5 on the power play from Chouinard. E-I-E-I-O. With a rebound chance left in the net. Atlanta's going to be forced to game 7. Landon McDonald scored that goal. E-I-E-I-O. Empty net, no. Empty net, no. Empty net, no. We got a game 7 in Atlanta. So let's take it. Okay, so Atlanta's got to try to avoid the blowout. It's Bouchard versus Reagan coming in to the Nets now. Here we go. 5 minutes into the game. Aggression. Wee Willie Platt put the puck in the net from Lawrence and Gold. While the babes in their bed, it's 10 o'clock. 1-0. 4 minutes later. Atlanta forces a hit. 5 minutes later. Pronovo gets whacked by Russell, so Phil Russell must go to the box. Power play chance? Not happening, but 3 minutes later. Chance for Atlanta. Calgary? No, Calgary's right. Sorry. That's His 6 from Planet Lalonde. 2-0 Atlanta. 3 minutes later. Let's go. 'Tis the season. Follow la 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 la. His second from Houston and Carr. 3 minutes later. Atlanta gets whacked. Flat. But they kill the zone. 3 minutes later. 4 minutes later. Percussion. When they don't need that penalty. But they don't give up a goal. Another chance for their first goal. No. Atlanta looks like they've got this one made and avoid the 3-1 choke job. 3 minutes later, Natalie and Platt. Other skillers. Hislop, a bebop, bam bop, big bop. From Russell Platt. Hey, Hislop. 2 minutes later. Solid gold. I love gold. His first from Carter McMillan. John Gold. I don't remember talking about him. Do I? 4 minutes later. Agitated? Calgary gets agitated. It's Bridgman. Let's get ice there. Hey, well, ice hitting. Chouinard from the corner. Well, Atlanta avoided that choke job. And Vail gets whacked by Murdoch. Calgary's lost the plot, Jakes. They've lost the plot. And really Platt could not put it in. 2 minutes later. Rudy Carlisle scores from Hislop and Nielsen. 5-2. Atlanta Don Lawrence, though. And that does it. Atlanta wins the thing 5-2. Atlanta does win something for once. Ha 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 ha. Well, let's take a look at both teams. The 82 Calgary squad, Pat Reagan 2-3, Reggie Lemelin 1-1 with a 5.55 goals against average. Guy Chouinard put up 13 points for the Calgary side. Landon McDonald 9, Rick Kallio had 8. Steve Conroy only had 1 point, an assist. Well, Chouinard scored 3 goals and got 10 assists. He led in assists, not much in goals. In Atlanta, Bouchard 3-3, Reggie Lemelin gave up 5 goals, but he still won the game. Guy Chouinard tied Eric Fail for the most points for the Atlanta squad, 12, with Ivan Boldrev and Brad Marsh getting assists. But Chouinard 7 goals, much more than everyone else. Only Fail and McMillan had more assists. But yeah, Chouinard just put the puck in the net 7 times for Atlanta. Lucky sevens. And that is all I've got for Atlanta. And rest in peace, Chouinard. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.